In for Baccarat, and that goes in! Hugo Baccarat gives Flint City a 3-2. Buckley, oh, the ball falls to Buckley. One-on-one with Etheridge. What a save!
Welcome into the first ever MSN All-State Media Day for girls soccer. Jonathan Turner alongside Dan Stickerat.
Ball comes in, a good hit! 1-0. Shot, another save from Etheridge. Rebound, and it goes in the back of the net. The Bulldogs up 1-0. Burzma, but then for Vlasma! 3-0. Stewart Heiss with a shot! Upper 90 and in!
Effectively today here on the Michigan Soccer Network, we are launching our new division of player recruitment videos.
Mario Canoe now finds Stock. Finally, Stock's got a left-footed banger. He shoots it! It's in! The Red Hawks equalize!
Soccer fans, welcome to opening night of the UPSL 2025 season on the National Soccer Network. It's FK Olimpik Macomb traveling to Brighton, Michigan to take on the newest club in the premier Midwest East Division. That would be Detroit Metro FC. I'm Scott McDermott alongside my partner Dan Stickerat. Glad to have you along tonight. You know, Dan, it's always hard to predict going into a new season what to expect from these two teams, but you've been following this for a long time. What are you looking to get out of this game tonight? What are you going to learn about these two squads?
Well, you look at each season, and especially with a lot of these amateur leagues across the country. You know, years ago there wasn't any of these leagues. Now there's literally thousands of teams for both men's soccer and women's soccer. But it's a revolving door. New teams come in every season to various leagues. Other teams exit and go to other leagues, and they fold. You never know from year to year what teams are going to be in each division. UPSL has teams in close to 50 states across the country. We had a chance to go out to Leesburg, Virginia here in August of 2023. We called the Final Four of the UPSL spring-summer season.
Love it. Yeah, it's amazing the growth in the league. I think it started back in 2011 with 10, 20 teams and now north of 400 teams. So a lot of buzz around this Metro Detroit FC team, though, coming in, playing their inaugural game tonight at their home field in Brighton. It's been a sketchy weather week in Michigan, which is not atypical for this time of year, but fans are short sleeves and shorts tonight here playing indoors, and probably glad to be inside rather than outside 40 and blustery.
Beautiful facilities out at the Legacy Sports Center. We had a chance to broadcast the Michigan State Youth Soccer Association State Cup Finals for the girls last October. We were on site at two fields all day Saturday and Sunday for those games. A lot of highlight reel, a lot of overtime and shootout games there at the Legacy Center, but it is an amazing, amazing complex. They're building these types of places all over the country, but you look at the soccer field, there's another one adjacent to the north underneath the bubble. Behind the grandstands here, there is a sea of basketball and volleyball courts settled downhill. Outside there is a plethora of baseball and softball fields, soccer fields, batting cages, and you name it. So ever been to the Legacy Center for any type of sports event, you know how busy they can get there on site. It's a great place to be able to hold games, especially this time of year. As pure Michigan rears its head out, you never know if it's going to be 75 or 25, shining or raining on a particular day, but they're inside here as the fans are starting to trickle in. Just moments away from kickoff, 2025 UPSL, FC, FK Olimpik Macomb.
Should be a good one. Yeah, this is a facility that is, the first time you pull up, you're kind of overwhelmed on where to go with both indoor and outdoor. They've got bars and yoga studios and gyms and you name it. But this model is catching on. I know down in Indianapolis they've got a similar setup and around the Midwest, and especially with variable weather like we have, it really is nice to take that kind of element off the table. Early in the season, sat through a lot of those games where you're just kind of miserable out in the stands, and this makes for a little different fan experience. I know that's something that Metro, is really intent on, is creating a different fan experience, and we'll get into that a little bit later in the broadcast. But I think that this facility is certainly going to enable them to hopefully, bring a little different experience for fans, especially early in the year. See Coach Luby there talking to, it's like Jamie Tripoli.
Lining up by the tunnels at the South Tunnel, which is right off to our right. The North Tunnel is back behind us, 75 yards or so. This is the UPSL spring summer season. They do play a fall and winter campaign, which wrapped up at the beginning of February with their National Final Four, and they'll do another one here in the summer come August. The site is yet to be determined. 400 teams from across the country gearing off this week and this weekend. Big plans in mind of trying to win their division, trying to make the postseason come July and early August. Maybe make a run to that coveted Final Four and claim that national championship. Who will it be? Will it be either of these two teams, anyone else from the Midwest that are part of their division or their conference overall? We'll know here in a few months, but it is finally game time. 2025 UPSL season is about set to get underway.
Nice to see Detroit Metro coming out with some of the youth players invited here tonight. It's got to be a thrill for those youngsters. Detroit Metro in their ambassador blue, I'm told, is the color of the teal uniforms, black shorts. Black and yellow kits for FK Olimpik Macomb. Back live here at the Legacy Center in Brighton, Michigan, getting ready for Game 1 of the 2025 spring season. UPSL. Metro Detroit FC taking on FK Olimpik Macomb. Again, Metro Detroit with the Ambassador Bridge logo and the Ambassador Bridge Ambassador Blue jerseys tonight. FK Olimpik Macomb in black and yellow. In goal tonight for Metro Detroit is Joe Smith. And we are making the assumption that in goal for Macomb tonight is Addis Bessick. Fortunately, we are without a roster for the visitors tonight. We're trying to track that down for quite a while to no avail. Just get our hands on one for Metro.
And we have a list of players for FK Olimpik with no jersey numbers at this time. It's unfortunate because a lot of, you're looking at a league with 400 teams, and again, there's a lot of other adjacent leagues in the amateur soccer space. And some teams are very organized with rosters, and they have festivities and tailgating, and they have communication specialists and whole 9 yards in some of their competition, and it's not an emphasis in terms of broadcasts or any other media relations. So it's kind of the way it rolls in the amateur soccer space.
No doubt. Please bear with us tonight. We will do our best. Fortunately, won't have names to go along with those numbers for the visitors. A little ribbon cutting ceremony coming up here. Team President Jeff Tripoli with the microphone in hand. His young family there along with him.
See the giant 3-foot scissors there over to the right.
Not sure where you go to buy a pair of those scissors, but they always seem to show up at ribbon cuttings.
Ribboncuttings.com. I'm not really sure.
Probably Amazon like everything else, right? We'll talk a little bit tonight about Jeff Tripoli and Coach Luby and this project that is truly a passion for both of them. Really fun to follow along here on the early stages, and it'll be fun to watch as it progresses over time. But two soccer guys through and through, a lot of passion, a lot of vision in terms of what they're trying to achieve here, and I, for one, am excited to see where it goes.
A couple of local guys through and through between Tripoli, the owner, 1993 Rochester Adams High School grad, and Alex Lubianski attended North Farmington. Played for the Raiders back in the late 1990s. So both individuals in that front office, been part of the soccer scene here in the greater Metro Detroit area for quite some time. As either players or coaches or front office staff. Alex Lubianski has been a part of some other amateur side teams here in recent years. Metro Detroit region.
Yeah, Alex has got quite a story, doesn't he? He's had his fingers in a lot of different areas of soccer. You can tell that it runs deep with him.
But you see in that banner in the background, Fueling Soccer in Metro Detroit. Detroit Metro is really aiming to build their brand, their kind of carve their niche in the amateur soccer arena here in Detroit area and in Michigan in general. Look at the UPSL, the League for Clubs, USL League 2, and so many Midwest Premier League. There's a lot of different amateur leagues across the country that have teams or divisions, Michigan-based teams in their Midwest divisions and conferences.
Yeah, there are a lot of teams. Just kind of looking at this division that these two squads are in. We've got a team out of Milford, Duca FC, team out of Rochester Hills, Drita SC, and then 4 Detroit squads: Alianza FC, Detroit City FC 2, Detroit United, and Intra United. Touch on those schedules a little bit later, but that'll make up the 10-team spring season for the league as we get set to get underway here.
A lot of amateur soccer games on the National Soccer Network now throughout the course of April, May, June, and July. UPSL, SL League 2, USLW League, United Women's Soccer, American Premier Soccer League, Midwest Soccer League, and so much more. So games several days a week here on NSN throughout the next several months. The time has finally arrived, 2025 UPSL season here on the National Soccer Network.
Looks like Daniel Wright, number 23, is set to take the kickoff. Daniel's a local guy out of Wixom.
Standout player for the Michigan Wolves just a few years ago. MLS Next Academy, which when he was still in high school, still the developmental academy.
We're underway here. Metro taking possession early. See if they can settle in. Gotta imagine there's some first game jitters that we'll see tonight, but imagine they'll attempt here to settle into a groove.
It's season opener. You'll see both teams knocking the ball around, trying to get a feel of the different alignments, defensive schemes. But from a confidence standpoint, it's always a great feeling to be able to get into that season opener, score an early goal, kind of take a little bit of pressure off your side.
No question.
It's like Metro controlling possession here in the first minute or so. 45-minute pass in the UPSL. Site Legacy Center, Brighton, Michigan. We are a national soccer network where soccer lives, breathes, and thrives across our great country.
Smith coming out to get that one. Probably feels good to get a little early action. He's out of bounds here near side. Good throw in for Macomb. Swing it far side. And Metro controls it at 12. Pedro Souza.
Our production team headed up by Bianca Silva here tonight.
They're tireless, aren't they?
We're back at the studios in Shelby Township, Michigan. 9 soccer games without different leagues in the country.
I'm not sure how they keep it all straight.
Filtered into our studio. We also produce all things with Oakland University, all sports. Our production team also worked with the track and field invitation at Oakland University here. Just finished up about 6:30 this evening. Great crew assembled in our front office to be able to handle that many games on one night.
It is a Herculean effort, to be sure. And yet somehow day in, day out, they pull it off consistently and seamlessly. DMFC with control here. Both teams kind of feeling each other out in their sea legs.
Great speed down the center of the park.
No doubt. Landed ahead, shot on goal. And trying to figure out who that was. That happened in such a quick second there that we didn't get the goal scorer. Detroit Metro is on the board. First goal in franchise history. Or is it not?
Looks like that was called back
Yeah,
for
must have been
offsides.
called back. Okay.
Perfectly slotted ball on that right side, maybe just a stride off.
Must have been. I didn't see the flag go up.
First offsides tonight for either side.
Got caught up in the excitement and missed the official. Nonetheless, though, Metro's got to be excited that they're getting an early opportunity. Not sure who that was with a flash of speed, but it was impressive.
It was Addis Bassick for FK Olimpik, scooping up that loose ball in the box. Bassick, a Warren Cousino High School grad. Fans still strolling into the facility here at the Legacy Center, just a couple miles south of beautiful Brighton, Michigan. So just joined us, 6 minute. Metro did have a goal about 2 minutes ago. Whistle for offside.
They're certainly dominating the time of possession so far, Dan. I'll be happy with their start. Long ball here for 19. Deep in the corner. Tries to cross it, but Metro is there.
Joe Smith, the goalkeeper for Detroit Metro, 4-year starter, Royal Oak High School, also played collegiately at NCAA Division I, Southern Illinois University at Edwardsville. They're in the NCAA tournament this past fall.
No shortage of talent on these rosters. Got some really impressive looking resumes.
With all the quality youth clubs now, not just in Michigan, but across the country, a lot of high schools will walk onto the field, at least for varsity matches, with nothing but club players. The soccer landscape just keeps growing larger and larger, and you're starting to see it trickle down here, especially in the last couple of decades, where we have all these amateur teams that play during the spring and summer, but you have very experienced players, players that played or are still on an NCAA Division I, Division II, Division III roster. Perhaps they're on an NAIA roster or National Christian College. A lot of these players played at high-level clubs. So played MLS next. National Academy League, League 64, whatever. There's just so many choices for kids, but these amateur teams are a great way for young players in that 18, 25, 28 bracket that are in college or are just out of college. They still want to play at a very competitive level, not just talking about a once a week, beer, soccer, or softball league. It's talking about a highly competitive league where everyone is very skilled. This is a great chance for these young men and women involved with these various leagues across the country.
No question, the evolution over the last, to your point, a couple decades. Shot on goal there, handled easily by Smith.
First save of the evening for Joe Smith, the netminder. Detroit Metro. Metro is, again, had the ball about 95% of the game on their feet here in the first 8.5 minutes.
Bessick lines this one up, see if they can get something going offensively here. It's not about midfield, but Controlled here by Metro. Saw taken down hard there.
Looks like that will be the game's first corner kick for either team.
Nanru. 24 taking the corner there is Sean Clark. Sean's a Californian. Laid in here, sent across. Ball still loose. Wessex got control.
Clark played at the University of Hawaii at Hilo. It's a unique situation being an athlete when you're on the Hawaiian Islands or up in Alaska, where you're so far removed from the rest of the sports scene in the United States. Face many challenges most people don't. In Michigan, a lot of people might be at a slight disadvantage if you're up in the Upper Peninsula, which is sparsely populated, and you're separated by the Mackinac Bridge, and northern Wisconsin is not very populated as well. But in a lot of the states, you can just get in your car and drive throughout your particular state or across state lines and be able to go to a soccer match if your kids play youth soccer, or regardless of sport. Either way, it's much more convenient. A state like Hawaii.
Yeah, some pretty unique challenges in playing in a place like Hawaii. You got that ability to play year-round outdoors has got to be awfully attractive. Swings it wide side. Displaying some patience tonight. They're not trying to force it. Looking for their opportunities.
Very methodical, very strategic with their attack. So looking for those open seams. A lot of players involved in the attack, switching fields, knocking the ball around.
It really speaks to the level, Dan, when you think about how few practices this team has had together. And yet early on here, they look like they're in sync. It's not always easy to do when you haven't been playing together very long.
Some of these players may have played in the UPSL or another amateur league here in recent years, but they've been assembling these rosters for the last couple of months, so not a lot of practices. And the pure Michigan factor always rears its ugly head with the weather swings we have here in not just southeast Michigan, but the entire state of Michigan. And last weekend, they literally shut down the Mackinac Bridge because of ice storms in the northern half of the Lower Peninsula, and the UP was so bad. We've had a lot of rain and wind, a lot of tornadoes already in Michigan. We're only in the first weekend of April.
Yeah, it'll settle down, but maybe a minute. Scoring chance here. Bessick right where he needs to be.
Again, you saw Daniel Wright slot that ball through traffic into the middle of the field. He originally made the pass on the goal. That goal was called back in the 4th minute due to an offsides player.
Come now with it. Trying to get something going here in midfield.
Both goalkeepers of local flavor. Joe Smith, Detroit Metro Roanoke High School grad, and his counterpart Addis Bessick, Warren Cosno grad.
Dangerous cross there. Shot by number 9. Sails just over the goal.
No jersey numbers provided for FK Olimpik Macomb. They have no roster numerically on their website, nor on the UPSL's website as well.
Hopefully as the season goes, we'll get those kinks worked out. Back to Smith here. Smith hard to miss today in his hot pink.
15th minute here at the Legacy Sports Center in Brighton. FK Olimpik Macomb has a narrow 2-1 shots advantage overall, with Detroit Metro FC the only shot on goal. Game's only corner kick, but Detroit Metro has controlled about 90% of the game thus far. Crossing into the 16th minute. Detroit Metro getting the ball downfield in a hurry on the counterattack.
Noru still with it. And this one looks like it's going to count. Now we've got the first game, or the first goal of the young season here by Dehane Noru, number 22 winger. And just like that, Detroit Metro is on the board. First goal of the season, first goal in franchise history.
Came in the 16th minute.
Oh, and the Metro fans are celebrating. Love to see the kids out there.
Are the kids volunteer? Are they paid actors to run around the field and celebrate celebratory style with those flags?
They're trying to make this kid friendly, and I suspect with Jeff's vision and the nice team that they've assembled here, they're going to pull it off. They really want to make this a fun place to bring the family out to. Got a halftime show coming up. They've got things before the game, after the game, ways for kids to win prizes. They've thought of a lot of different angles.
And that's what you need in an event like this. You know, minor league baseball's been around for well over 100 years, but a lot of those minor league baseball teams, they are very fan-friendly, very kid-friendly. If you have a chance to go out to minor league ballpark anywhere in the country, even the soccer space, the Flint City Bucks used to be the Michigan Bucks, but they're up at Atwood Stadium here the last 6-7 years. They're in the USL League 2, which is primarily current college players, but they've always done a great job of getting fans involved, having events. They have bounce houses. They have a lot of things for young kids to do. And in terms of amateur soccer team in the state of Michigan, they've always consistently been one of the best drawing franchises in terms of, you know, fans in the seats, fans watching online.
Yeah, putting a quality product on the field is certainly a priority, but there's a lot more to it. And these teams that have figured it out, they get to enjoy the spoils, because they do develop that loyal fan base that comes out, that supports them, and it becomes that, long-time partnership. And I think that's clearly what Detroit Metro is trying to do here. And based on night one, they're on their way. Doesn't hurt that they have beer and wine for the adults and good food to eat as well.
Wherever these amateur teams play, a lot of the local towns, the patronage of fans and players and coaches heading to local eateries and sports bars in the area after these games. Quite a few just north up in Brighton. We're not that far out of Ann Arbor. That shot runs off the crossbar from distance.
It sure did. Metro dodged a bullet there. That was a nice shot by Macomb. Macomb still in control here. An easy one for Smith to handle. Yeah, I was told that Great White Buffalo Beer Company in Northville is providing some craft beers tonight. Maybe even some talks of creating a custom DMFC craft beer down the road. Might have to try that one.
There's a shot just over the crossbar as we're now crossing the 20th minute. Those who just joined us, 1-0 in favor of Detroit Metro SC.
Olimpik Macomb with it. And 1-0.
Talked about earlier in the game, a little bit of pressure is off Detroit FC to be able to strike first in this contest. They did have that goal called back in the 4th minute due to an offside. Able to convert it, 16th minute.
Such an advantage to get on the board early.
They have clearly controlled possession throughout the course of this match.
Troll holds it in here. Still trying to find a seam. Over with it. Shot on goal. He's saved there by Besic.
It's Besic's second save in 3 tries here tonight. Finally delivered the roster for FK Olimpik Macomb. Clearly Addis Besic in goal for Olympic.
For Metro, leaves it. 12 called for a foul there.
Just the second foul so far against DMFC.
One on Souza.
And that was a offsides call. Long serve. Chased down by Olympic, but
Didn't seem too happy about it.
pleading the case, the referee, I don't know how many times other than the number 0 pops in my head where a referee has switched the call in the sport of soccer at any level, in any year, at any time.
And yet they continue to plead their case on a regular basis. That was just human nature. Back to Smith. And to Clark. To get a little more organized with our numbers in the second half. They were delivered to us at the last minute, but get those studied up for you. One of the fun things with the new team is getting to know these players. With it. Wide side. Too much.
Looked that one off a Olympic player's head. It should be a second corner kick coming up for Detroit Metro FC.
I believe that's Max Rogova taking the corner. This is from Kansas City. Sends this one across.
For Sporting KC Academy. MLS Next system here just a couple years ago.
Nice save by Besic. Detroit's getting some chances here early in the game. They got to feel good about the pressure they're putting on this defense. Another opportunity there.
Well over the crossbar, but Detroit Metro has been pressing since the opening kickoff. We're now in the 25th minute. It's 45-minute first half. DMSC 3 on total shots and 4-1 with shots on frame and 3-0 on corner kicks. But up on that scoreboard where it matters most, homestanding Detroit Metro FC up 1-0. Courtesy of a 16th minute tally.
Pedro Souza sending that one towards the goal. Nothing going there. Souza's played all over the world. Played in Italy and Brazil. Played for 4 years at Siena Heights, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. A lot of local talent on this team, but we've got some folks from Albania, Rio, California, Kansas City.
Off the steal, they have numbers. What a strike from outside. Came off a steal, and the Detroit Metro FC had numbers. 3-on-2 break.
And I want to say that was number 11, Max Rogova, but trying to get him to turn around so we can see his jersey number. Trying to get verification on that, but again, I believe it was Rogova. Just like that, Detroit Metro up 2-0.
Okay, in the 26th minute.
Fans something to cheer about.
So 6 total shots. Resulting in 5 shots on goal and 2 into the back of the net. Detroit Metro FC in complete and total command at this point of this match. Played some steady possession ball here and been able to break down the FK Olympic back line here on multiple occasions. Resulting in the 2 goals. They did have a goal called back in the 4th minute.
17 with it. Taken away by Macomb. I'm still with it.
Don't forget to follow the National Soccer Network on YouTube and all social media platforms. We're all over Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Multitude of people here at NSN sharing links and graphics and stories, videos all over different social media platforms.
A great time to be a soccer fan. There's no shortage of content out there, both to watch and read, listen to, podcasts. Not different than when you and I were growing up, Dan. Up by number 4. I'm still with it.
For Ivan Durasic, the player on that shot. Yeah, talk about content. Just my email alone, I see like every 20 seconds I get another announcement or press release or invitation to a press conference somewhere in the country.
Yeah, and you can see right there the follow DMFC. They've got all their social handles. They're starting to produce a lot more content. Obviously, a lot easier to do once the season gets going and there's more exciting things to talk about. We've got plenty to talk about. This trend continues here today. Got to be happy with their start.
Again, with the weather and the fact that most of these amateur teams weren't even assembled a month ago. I mean, the teams have been signing players or bringing them in to sign, but in terms of all being gathered in the same site, the same time for physical practices and all the weather mood swings that we have here in Michigan each and every year. These players are just getting accustomed to playing with one another.
Granite City, eat good eats, drink good drinks, have good times.
Granite City, they have close to 20 locations across the country now. They here 2 in Michigan, 1 in Troy, 1 down in Northville, not too far away from Legacy Center here in Brighton. Definitely quality meal. All locations. I love their shepherd's pie.
I'm not sure I've tried that. I might have to put that on my list.
Got the last 3 school years we've done our Michigan High School Soccer Co-Association has allowed us to do the All-State Dream Team Reveal show for them and announce the Mr. Soccer or Miss Soccer for the high school circuit at the very end. Been able to do those live shows at the Granite City location in Troy, Michigan.
Yeah, that's a great spot there. Great location, great staff. Good partner of ours.
A lot of good restaurants there on kind of Corporate Row in Troy, along Big Beaver, the 66-lane divided highway with the traffic never ends.
Coming here from Metro, or for Macomb, excuse me.
Second minute at the Legacy Center, just south of Brighton, Michigan. National Soccer Network. Glad to be part of this game, the UPSL. And several others with Detroit Metro FC as the first yellow card's been booked.
I guess on number 4, Ivan Durisic, midfielder for Macomb. Again, Macomb pleading their case. Again, probably not going to go their way.
It's a first card for either team here tonight.
Felt it getting a little more physical there. Not surprised that referees wanted to keep it under control here.
FK Olimpik trying to get back in this contest, but they have been unable to gain much of possession at all in this first half, as we're now in the 33rd minute. There was a stretch for about 2 minutes where they knocked the ball around, but other than that, it's been all Detroit Metro FC up on that scoreboard.
Shot from 23. And that one goes out of bounds. Daniel Wright with the shot. Quickly back into play. Clark had it, sends it far side, Nonru. Speed has been on display here a couple times today. Long shot. Down, still in play. Corner coming up here for Metro.
That is Basic, the goalkeeper for FK Olimpik, with full lateral to turn that shot aside, and then a teammate clears it out of bounds. But 4th corner kick of the match coming up for Detroit Metro. So looking to add on to this lead.
Is it near side of Nonru? That one's blocked. Souza battling.
Bunched up in the center of the park. It's been one thing FK Olimpik needs to do a better job here down the stretch in the first half and in the second half to kind of spread the field out a little bit more. But right now they're just trying to maintain their defensive shape as Detroit Metro FC has controlled play throughout the first 34 minutes and change. They have kept FK Olimpik on their heels throughout the course of this match. So another set piece coming up for the boys in blue.
Daniel Wright. Trouble for Bessick on that one. Back to Smith.
Inside 10 minutes in the first half. If you are Alex Luliansky, the head coach for Detroit Metro SC, gotta be pleased with the overall performance at this point of the contest. The opening kickoff, they have maintained possession, just conceding it for just a couple minutes there. Midpoint of the first half, they have a 2-0 advantage. They have outshot, outcornered their opposition. Only have 3 fouls against. No cards at this point, so very clean, very fluid game thus far for Detroit Metro SC as they're looking to get numbers once again.
Yeah, Dan, you got to figure that, you know, Coach Luby knew he's got talent on this team. There's no question about that. He and his staff have assembled this team very carefully, you know, very purposefully. But until you get into game situations, you don't really know, you know, what you've got. You think you know, but it's always a test when you get out there for the first time against live competition at game speed. And I would agree with you. I would think that he's going to go into halftime here feeling pretty happy with the start.
Joe Smith's second stop of the evening. But you're right, Scott. You look at rosters and you start to see names that are familiar, players that are on college rosters right now, players who are just out of college. Maybe they had an exceptional high school career, played, you know, at a high level of the, you know, youth club soccer pyramid. And some of these players are very highly decorated early in their career. They might be in college or just out of college, but you can see the names. You can recognize some of the names as you watch these teams in different parts of the country, but getting them all on the same page, especially in, you know, a season opener, the first couple games of the season, can be a challenge. Credit to Detroit Metro SC. They look very seasoned at this point of this game. They've done just about everything right.
Well, and I think part of that is, you know, the way they've tried to assemble this team was to really be patient. I think even in talking to Jeff Trippley, the president of the club, he expressed a little bit of concern that it was taking longer maybe than he might have thought. But Coach Luby wanted to be patient, wanted to make sure that he got to see these guys more than once. You know, people that he was familiar with, make sure that all of his coaches were able to evaluate him. He's got a pretty firm stance that all the coaches have to see the players in person before they talk about him. He doesn't. Ooh.
Shot goes off the far post and carooms back into the hands of Joe Smith, the netminder for Detroit Metro. Do you wish Merry Christmas? Do you say, I mean, that's just about luck. That ball carooms again off that far post. The shot went through traffic, comes back out the other side of the goal mouth, lands right in the lap of Joe Smith.
You're not kidding. They had one hit the upper crossbar earlier. So Metro has dodged a couple bullets here. None bigger than that one right there. I think we all know about this sport. It can change in an instant.
You talk about decorated players. You know, take for example, Detroit Metro's Danny Wright, hometown player, grew up in the Wixom Wall Lake area. Was a standout with the Michigan Wolves, U.S. Development Academy, which is now MLS Next. Played at an NCAA Division I college. Now he's in his mid-20s, still playing a highly competitive team. He's a very dangerous kind of attacking midfielder or wide forward. They do have several players on their roster, as does FK Olimpik. Quite a lot of success in their soccer careers.
Honor with it. make something happen. Get hounded over there. Sends it in. Controlled by Macomb. Macomb's not going to go away. They probably feel like they're just a couple inches from being down 2-1. It'd be a different ball game.
Even though they haven't had hardly any possession this game, they have collected 6 shots, 3 on goal, but they had 2 of those 6 shots did room off the framework, either goal post or the crossbar. So they are just literally a couple inches away from being in a 2-2 draw, even though they've been thoroughly outplayed. They have looked for the counterattack, create chances. They've been able to do so. It's also a momentum thing. If FK Olimpik Macomb can get a goal here in the first half, that could change momentum, change the flow of the game a little bit, give them a little bit more confidence. Kind of, mentally being down 1 goal instead of 2 does have an effect if you are a soccer player out on the pitch.
Yeah, definitely a different feeling going into the locker room at halftime. Down 1 versus down 2.
Looks like just around the corner should be a long throw in, deep in FK Olympic territory. Daniel White is behind the camera view. Throw the ball in.
Second minute of play here. Let's see if Macomb can. Oh, player down.
That's an injury or just a cramp. Can't tell what number, but FK player's kind of down. Grabbing his ankles. Looks to be okay. Maybe just a minor cramp. If you are anyone that's ever played sports and you've had one of those Charlie horses where your calf just locks up, or if you wake up in a pool of sweat at 3:47 in the morning because your calf locks up, knows how painful that can be. You don't necessarily have to be an athlete. I still get them at my age. I'm 52 years old.
They are not fun. Although we have figured out in our house, my son suffered through them playing football and lacrosse, and we discovered pickle juice is the cure-all. Used to carry little shots.
I always tell you to eat a banana when I was a kid, but maybe that's not the
pickle juice works almost instantaneously. I think the banana is more long-term. Great shot.
Offside flag did go up, however. It's the second time that FK Olimpik Macomb has been whistled for offsides. Troy Metro has had 1 offside against so far in this match. We just crossed into the 44th minutes. We're in the final minutes of the first half. Just under 2 minutes plus stoppage time. 2 goals and a couple of fouls, 1 card, but shouldn't be too much stoppage time.
Sleeve there. Macomb right where they need to be. Certainly aware of the clock, and they're going to push.
Great defensive play by Detroit Metro, getting a lot of players back on the counterattack and close down those passing lanes. Not allowing FK Olimpik to slot the ball towards the box. Legacy Center. Remind everyone to visit us at the nationalsoccernetwork.com for all your latest soccer news. NSN, where soccer lives, breathes, and thrives. Substitution for FK Olimpik.
Interesting timing on that.
Not sure why you want to sub a player in when you're actually just crossed into stoppage time. Not been given a single. How many minutes? Spoke of just 2 minutes ago. Shouldn't be any more than a pair of minutes added on here at the end of the first half.
Metro's going to be quite content to run this clock out, take their 2-goal lead into halftime.
They've played a very patient first half, controlling the tempo, controlling the possession game, creating chances, getting everyone touches, everyone involved, spreading out that field, switching fields. Being able to break down the FK Olimpik defense in more than one time, several occasions here in the first half. Time to get it off another chance. Maybe add a third tally. A little bit more breathing room. About a minute and a half into stoppage time. Social media banner for Detroit Metro FC, other different social media platforms. You can also follow us in the National Soccer Network.
Another scoring chance. Just wide.
Just wide of the net.
I was just getting ready to say, the one thing that you don't want to do here if you're Detroit Metro is take your foot off the gas defensively and give up a late one. That can be kind of demoralizing.
Alexander Smithowski had that shot just wide of the frame. He has been very dangerous. He's one of the players that took a shot off the crossbar earlier in this match. They've been getting the ball up top to him to create some damage off the counterattack, but his team is scoreless here at the break. They trailed standing Detroit Metro SC 2-0.
Well, it was an entertaining first half. I'm glad the fans had something to cheer about. Watching good soccer is always fun, but even more fun when your team puts a couple up on the board. We're going to take a break. We'll be back with you when the second half resumes.
In our online world, we have access to endless communication channels. But despite our online connections, one dynamic will always separate the value in a phone call from an email, and that's relationship. Growing businesses and customer relationships live and die by the phone system, and an enterprise phone solution is the key to bridging the communication gap between you and your customers. At Spectrum VoIP, we exist to make sure your communication is seamless, consistent, and reliable. With simple pricing and reliable support, we dramatically reduce your telecommunication expenses. We come to you to install, train, and onboard your team, and our 24/7 support team is always available to help. Our interactive web portal has endless features that include the real-time data you need, the ability to record, download, and re-listen to phone calls, and sending SMS text messages straight from your computer. And the best part is that all of this is available in the palm of your hand. Since reliability is one of your top priorities, we make it one of ours. So what makes us different? We don't just connect your phones. We power your connection with your customers, your team, and your next level as a business.
Looks great. Oh.
When termites show up, so do we. Terminix it.
Looks great. Oh.
When termites show up, so do we. Terminix it.
In our online world, we have access to endless communication channels. But despite our online connections, one dynamic will always separate the value in a phone call from an email, and that's relationship. Growing businesses and customer relationships live and die by the phone system, and an enterprise phone solution is the key to bridging the communication gap between you and your customers. At Spectrum VoIP, we exist to make sure your communication is seamless, consistent, and reliable. With simple pricing and reliable support, we dramatically reduce your telecommunication expenses. We come to you to install, train, and onboard your team, and our 24/7 support team is always available to help. Our interactive web portal has endless features that include the real-time data you need, the ability to record, download, and re-listen to phone calls, and sending SMS text messages straight from your computer. And the best part is that all of this is available in the palm of your hand. Since reliability is one of your top priorities, we make it one of ours. So what makes us different? We don't just connect your phones. We power your connection with your customers, your team, and your next level as a business.
Go get it, Doug.
When termites show up, so do we. Terminix it.
Looks great.
When termites show up, so do we. Terminix it.
In our online world, we have access to endless communication channels. But despite our online connections, one dynamic will always separate the value in a phone call from an email, and that's relationship. Growing businesses and customer relationships live and die by the phone system, and an enterprise phone solution is the key to bridging the communication gap between you and your customers. At Spectrum VoIP, we exist to make sure your communication is seamless, consistent, and reliable. With simple pricing and reliable support, we dramatically reduce your telecommunication expenses. We come to you to install, train, and onboard your team, and our 24/7 support team is always available to help. Our interactive web portal has endless features that include the real-time data you need, the ability to record, download, and re-listen to phone calls, and sending SMS text messages straight from your computer. And the best part is that all of this is available in the palm of your hand. Since reliability is one of your top priorities, we make it one of ours. So what makes us different? We don't just connect your phones. We power your connection with your customers, your team, and your next level as a business.
Looks great.
When termites show up, so do we. Terminix it.
You'll get it, Doug.
When termites show up, so do we. Terminix it.
In for Baccarat, and that goes in! Hugo Baccarat gives Flint City a 3-2. Buckley, all the ball falls to Buckley. One-on-one with Etheridge. What a save!
Welcome into the first ever MSN All-State Media Day for Girls Soccer. Jonathan Turner alongside Dan Stickerat.
Ball comes in, a good head! 1-0! Shot, another save from Etheridge! Rebound, and it goes in the back of the net, the Bulldogs up 1-0! Burzma, but then for Vlasma! 3-0! Stuart Heiss with a shot! Upper 90 and in!
Effectively today here on the Michigan Soccer Network, we are launching our new division of player recruitment videos.
Mario Canoe now finds Stock. Finding Stock's got a left-footed banger. He shoots it, and it's in! The Red Hawks equalize!
Looks great. Oh,
When termites show up, so do we. Terminix it.
go get it, Doug.
When termites show up, so do we. Terminix it.
In our online world, we have access to endless communication channels. But despite our online connections, one dynamic will always separate the value in a phone call from an email, and that's relationship. Growing businesses and customer relationships live and die by the phone system, and an enterprise phone solution is the key to bridging the communication gap between you and your customers. At Spectrum VoIP, we exist to make sure your communication is seamless, consistent, and reliable. With simple pricing and reliable support, we dramatically reduce your telecommunication expenses. We come to you to install, train, and onboard your team, and our 24/7 support team is always available to help. Our interactive web portal has endless features that include the real-time data you need, the ability to record, download, and re-listen to phone calls, and sending SMS text messages straight from your computer. And the best part is that all of this is available in the palm of your hand. Since reliability is one of your top priorities, we make it one of ours. So what
of our match between Detroit Metro FC, FK Olimpik Macomb. Detroit Metro with a 2-goal lead in their first game in existence, not just the first game of the 2025 spring season. This being a new franchise, they got to be pleased, Dan, with the good start that they got off to. See if they can keep the momentum going here in the second half.
9-7 on total shots, 7-3 shots on goal, and 4-0 on corner kicks. But look up at that scoreboard, 2-0 in favor of Detroit Metro SC. First half is in the books. You are Alex Luliansky. We talked about this in the first half. You have to be very pleased with how his team has done everything right thus far. They did escape a couple of bullets where a shot went off a crossbar and another one off a goal post, but they have dominated this game in terms of possession. They've had several quality scoring chances.
Always interesting to see what type of adjustments these teams make now that they've gotten a look at each other.
If you're FK Olimpik, you're down 2-0, so it is manageable to come back, but you have to find a way to get more of that possession. Of their 7 shots, most of them were outside of the box. A couple of those shots were from quite a distance that did ring off the framework. You need to create more restarts, free kicks, corner kicks in that final third of the field. You must kind of spread the field out as well and get more of that possession, get more players involved in your attack. So FK Olimpik is looking to do that here in the second half. Detroit Metro SC, keep it doing what you're doing, but you do not want to give up an early goal here at the start of the second half and allow that team to get back into this contest.
No question.
From a mental approach, it's a lot easier to come back being down 2-1 than 2-0.
Dan, I know these are just, extremely well-conditioned athletes, but this early in the season, does conditioning come into play at all, or not something to worry about?
A lot of these players, they're in their 20s. They're in good shape. Some of these players may still be on college rosters. They are playing soccer at different parts of the year. There's a lot of these indoor facilities where you can play, even in rec leagues in the winter. A lot of these players have been very well coached at the youth level, very well coached at the collegiate level as well. They are in shape.
Well, the strength and conditioning is just another element of the game that has improved dramatically a bit.
I think it has really with all sports, the better workout equipment, the nutrition, the things that people are, it's ingrained in them at an early age now against when we were kids growing up in the 1970s, 1980s, 1990s. There's so much more available to them.
Well, the injury prevention and the nutrition, they're taking care of themselves at a different level. Oh, we got a scoring opportunity. Once again, we're offsides. Quite a few of those tonight on Metro, unfortunately for them.
Both teams now have a pair of offsides, but they've been very crucial for Detroit Metro SC. Their 2 offsides have resulted in goals being called back. On the counterattack, they just had a player make a run just a bit early, just barely offside. Enough for the referee to warrant the whistle. In the 50th minute. 4 minutes of change into the second half. Detroit Metro SC holding on to that 2-0 advantage. Goals being scored in the 16th and 26th minute.
If you're an FK Olympic supporter, their next game is on the 26th of this month against Alianza. That one also on the road, and they're home for a couple on May 4th and May 11th against Drita and Intra United. Metro was home again on the 25th against Duca SC. Their first couple matches of the year here in Brighton.
The shot was taken by Daniel Wright well over the crossbar. He took that shot from over 35 yards out.
Smith way out to get that one, but it's out for him.
Let's give him a go there on the far touchline. FK Olympic playing a little bit more aggression, a little bit more energy here to start the second half.
Good opportunity there.
Smith there to smother up that loose ball. That could have been very dangerous if it squeaks by the goalkeeper. FK Olympic had 3 guys inside the box on that attempt.
Smith playing for Coach Luby, who was a standout goalkeeper in his own right. Asked him how he became a goalkeeper, and opportunity here for Macomb.
That one's in the back of the net.
It sure is. It's like number 19 with the goal. Let's see if we can put a name to the number for that lad. I don't see him on my list. Nonetheless, FK Olimpik Macomb on the board here in the 52nd minute.
The very first shot attempt of the second half, resulting in the first goal for FK Olimpik Macomb.
Man, you said it. They're playing with a little more aggression. Looks like they've got a little more energy and got the quick payoff there. They're knocking on the door again.
Offside's call on that play.
A yellow card coming out. Second of the game.
The goal scorer. Again, we have no number 19 on our roster.
Not sure what the aggression was there. Maybe if it was verbal.
Yeah, verbal cards or off descent are very frequent in the game of soccer. I know sometimes when you, in the heat of the battle, adrenaline's rushing when you're out playing a game. Sometimes your mouth can get the best of you. I've been there, done that.
Got the yellow card to prove it. Finished my quick story on Coach Libby becoming a goalkeeper. I thought it was funny. He had an older brother that was a good player. And when you got an older brother that wants to practice shooting on the net, and you're the little brother, you become the goalkeeper. And got so good at it that he stuck with it all the way through college and post-college. Quite a career, despite being a little bit undersized for the position. Battle going on there, won by Metro. I asked Coach Luby what he was looking to accomplish in this first season, and boy, he gave me an earful in a good way. He's looking to do things different here. He said we really want to be additive to U.S. soccer broadly. We talked about bringing relevance and an opportunity to folks around town, kind of creating a model that he hopes gets cloned elsewhere.
Foul against FK Olimpik. He's hugging the jersey.
Sean Clark to take the free kick here.
The team is on kind of the attack, and you play their jerseys, trying to make a run into space. And you see a card in those situations. Referee allows the free kick just inside midfield for Detroit Metro.
With possession. Need some patience here. Okay, back to Besic. Right side of the field. Derek Broche there, pleading his case. Moru with it. Showing off his wheels. Is it up to head to Rugova? Rugova's going to get this one back in bounds quickly. Souza with it. With Broche. Troy Metro looking to get the offense going here in the second half.
Head over to our YouTube channel. Look in the box of who you predict is going to win the match. Detroit Metro SC or Olympic Macomb. Metro has that 2-1 advantage up the scoreboard. We're just crossing the 59th minute here at the Legacy Center near Brighton, Michigan. So you can do a live chat on the YouTube channel. Just know where you're watching the game from. Particularly who the 19 is for FK Olimpik. Not listed on the roster, no 19.
Spectrum Voice over IP, tech essentials for the modern business.
Sponsor here at the National Soccer Network.
Appreciate them all.
Be sure to join us at 8 p.m. tomorrow night, Sunday night, on both our YouTube and Roku TV channels. It's myself, News Director Dan Sticker. I will join Patty Cesarini for the original high school girls soccer ranking show, 8 to 9 p.m. on those channels. We'll take a look at the top 15 teams plus honorable mentions. First state ranking of the 2025 girls soccer season here in Michigan. Presented by the Michigan High School Soccer Coaches Association, who provides those lists all spring and fall every year. We started that show just sitting at a table in Labor Day weekend 2022, and the boys soccer season is going to be quite a popular show here in the last couple of years. Those who are playing, coaching, or just fans of high school soccer in general. 8 to 9 p.m. on the National Soccer Network.
Fortunate to have such great soccer here in the state of Michigan at the high school level.
High school level, amateur level, club level, college level. There's so much great soccer being played across the beautiful state of Michigan. I'd be a part of that ride here the last 3 years. And we migrated into from the Michigan Soccer Network into the National Soccer Network back here over the holiday season in late December.
It really feels, Dan, to me like we're just kind of at an all-time high right now in terms of the interest level. You've got culturally with TV shows with Ted Lasso and Welcome to Wrexham, and you got the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open going on right now, World Cup coming to the United States, the World Club Cup this fall. You got a lot of interest at the amateur level. Just seems to be like we're entering into a terrific era for the sport here in the United States. There's room to continue to grow it, but awful lot of interest.
The UPSL championship team down in Detroit.
Yeah.
Detroit City FC, they've become a very popular attraction on the pro side. High school soccer here in the state of Michigan since the early 90s. Been covering the Michigan, now Flint City Bucks, UPSL League 2 since the summer 2000 when they moved from Saginaw down to Metro Detroit. They've had a lot of homes in this area, but we were talking earlier in the broadcast just about the growth overall in the amateur pre-professional soccer space in our country, and the growth has been magnificent, especially in the last decade. A lot more leagues are popping up. League sizes are literally doubling in less than a decade. And now you have a lot of the amateur leagues for the women's soccer side. You take the USLW League, for example. They are just in their 4th year of existence this summer, and they're already up to 93 different teams across the country. Just shows you that they have created a lot of opportunity for college students, players just out of college, to continue to play at a high level throughout the spring and summer months. So we're just watching here today, the UPSL. UPSL has been around since 2011.
Well, and I always think about it from a generational perspective. These young people that are so immersed, playing at a high level here, you know that if they have a family someday, that their kids will have a soccer ball at their feet when they're able to walk. And just like it is in other cultures where it's just sort of one of those things that you grow up with, that you have from birth. That hasn't always been the case here in the broadly in the United States, and it certainly feels like that's changing.
It is changing, and there's a lot more networks that are airing soccer. You look at, especially women's soccer, the amount of opportunities of games being broadcast, even on major networks. A lot more of those professional leagues like NWSL are having their games broadcast. We've been very engaged in shedding a positive light on the amateur and pre-professional leagues across the country. Those are growing, exponentially each and every year. So if I'm a college player, I'm 18 to 25 years old. Doesn't matter what level. I could be NCAA Division I, I could be NEI. It doesn't necessarily matter, but there are opportunities for you to finish up your semester in April and go back to your home state, or just latch on to whatever state you are playing collegiately in, and try out, or even try to attempt to get on a roster somewhere.
Well, then you're playing with good players. It's one thing to play. It's another thing to play at a high level with quality players where you can continue to refine your skills and work on your craft. And certainly the opportunities now are endless, this being one of them. Talking to Jeff Tripoli and Coach Louie, scoring opportunity here for Macomb. This one goes up and over. But they were talking about how they would love nothing more than to see some of their best players play here for a short period of time, where they've continue to improve and advance and move up into the very highest levels of soccer. '65th minute. We've got a close one here, folks. 2-1. Macomb definitely came out in the second half and has been a little bit more aggressive, controlled the ball more. They're benefiting from that. Cut the lead to 1. Not seeing too much offense from Metro. See if they can turn that around.
Whatever was said in that locker room during the halftime break.
A little
extracurricular activities over there. What was ever said to the FK Olympic players, they definitely have played with a little more urgency, a little bit more energy, a little bit more aggression here in the second half. Another yellow card issue to FK Olympic.
Looks like number 8 on the receiving end of that one. Mohamed Bousla. There's number 5. 5, Pablo Luna.
It's the third yellow card of this match issued to FK Olimpik Macomb. Detroit Metro does not have any cards booked at this time of the game. We're now in the 67th minute. 2-1 advantage for Detroit Metro FC.
We're going to have to repair the Divine Electric sign.
Should add a couple minutes onto the stoppage time at the end of this second half. 35-minute halves. I do not believe that UPSL plays overtime in regular season matches, just postseason affair.
I believe you're correct. FK Olimpik Macomb last spring season finished up with 3 wins, 5 losses, and 3 draws. Back when there was 12 teams in that division, they were in 8th place. Detroit United won it all, both in the spring and the fall. Interesting to see them coming up here in a couple weeks.
Detroit United has been a staple in the UPSL in terms of this part of the country. They've won several divisional championships, made a multitude of deep runs in the UPSL national tournament, which is significant. You're not looking at it like a pro league of like 30 teams. There's literally over 400 teams in several dozen different divisions and conferences in UPSL soccer space. So to even win a division and qualify for the postseason, it is a big deal.
No doubt. That's certainly everybody's goal at the beginning of the year, and fun to see who can make a run. My understanding, Dan, is that no Michigan team has ever made it all the way to the end. This will be the year. Metro with it, midfield. Nova plays it up. Nanu is down. Nothing serious.
Head over to our YouTube channel. There's who are you picking to win this matchup? We'll let that run until the 70th minute or so, 80th minute. Close one, 2-1 in favor of Detroit Metro SC. For those of you who joined us late, Detroit Metro took that 2-0 advantage at the break with goals in the 16th and 26th minute. They also had 2 goals called back due to offside flags. FK Olimpik was able to cut into that advantage. The goal in the 52nd minute. You know, FK Olimpik, they did only attempt 7 shots, but 2 off the framework in that first half. So this game could be, in all reality, just a couple inches away from being tied.
Gibson plays it over to Sean Clark. On the far side. Metro can get a quality shot. About 2,000 seats here. The Legacy Center in Brighton. Curious to see if we can get an attendance number tonight.
Should be interested to see how the crowds with Detroit Metro SC and even home or away games, how they fluctuate, if they consistently build up, as more people are aware that they have a new team out here and practices in Western Wayne County and plays its home game out in Brighton. Livingston County, Michigan.
Certainly a lot of youth players in this area, and I know that's something that they're eager to get the youngsters involved. A lot of fun ideas and ways to get the young players interested, make sure they have a good time when they come out. Yeah, that's definitely a process, Dan. That doesn't happen overnight. You're gonna put a good product on the field and work to build that awareness. Team owner and president Jeff Trickley, though, has got a lot of experience doing that with other businesses, so I wouldn't be surprised if he's able to pull it off here.
we talk about these amateur teams. I don't think a lot of fans fully understand how much work goes in behind the scenes. You have travel costs. I mean, you know, gas, either players driving individually or, you know, running shuttle buses. Games are, you know, out of state. If they're, you know, especially in the postseason, you have to try to get a room overnight with all your players. Renting out facilities for games and for practices. You're not necessarily paying players that much because a lot of these players are still in college and not eligible to play in these amateur leagues or semi-pro or pre-professional, whatever you want to call these types of conferences and leagues. But there are a lot more expenses involved than people realize.
Yeah, and I think a lot more variables, you know, setting up a team than just finding players. I mean, that clearly is the number one objective, but an awful lot of details go on to putting something like this together. I mean, figuring out who your trainers are going to be and your branding and your league requirements, and
make sure doctors on call are available in case there's a serious injury.
No doubt.
You look at those banners in the background, at any level of soccer, you see those advertisements. Well, there is a lot of teams out there. Just looking at the soccer space in general, you know, you have your national teams and your professional leagues and your pre-professional and amateur leagues, college soccer, high school, you know, varsity and JV and freshman teams, and you have all these youth clubs, and the youth club has greatly expanded to so many levels. I mean, players have so many choices to make in terms of playing, you know, youth soccer growing up, especially in the middle school and high school days, where it really starts to matter if a player wants to play in college or, you know, climb that ladder, so to speak. It become kind of a crowded space for people trying to get those sponsorships, find those advertisers. So again, there is a lot of work that goes into owning and operating and being part of that front office of any amateur team. Doesn't matter where in the country, here in Michigan, up in North Dakota, Minnesota, down in Arkansas, that doesn't matter. It's still the same concept. You are fighting for those sponsorships, fighting for those advertisements, getting people involved, people to, you know, make that investment, wanting to spend their time with you on a Saturday night watching a game either online or in the seats or wherever a team is playing.
No doubt. I mean, for all the benefits of, you know, the sport becoming more competitive and you know, and more broad, the challenges are there too. So we've got a cramping situation here.
It's all about branding, and more branding. You know, Detroit City FC, they've done a great job over the years of getting consistently 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 people in their seats 20 plus times a year for home games, and getting ready to build a 15,000 plus seat stadium kind of towards the west end of downtown Detroit. Currently playing Keyworth Stadium over there in Hamtramck. I like those old stadiums, Keyworth, and then you have Atwood up in Flint.
Yep.
Those places have been around over 100 years. Very cool places to watch a soccer match. A lot of places are building stadiums. Even in downtown Grand Rapids, they announced back last November that some investors were building a soccer stadium, you know, 12 to 15,000 seats. They'll use that for games, for practices, even have concerts in the summer months. So there is a market for these teams. There is a market for expansion. The space can get a little crowded, a little saturated in certain markets, but at the end of the day, you are providing great opportunities for young athletes to kind of still carry that dream. Does that mean they only want to play in college, or after they hang up the cleats, or when they graduate from college, they still want to play? But you are providing the opportunities for these young men and women.
And it's great for the fans. I mean, I was on the DMFC website earlier this week, and the amount of gear that they've got online, you know, jackets, jerseys, scarves, sweatshirts, beanies, hats, you name it. It's fun to represent your team. You come out here and have a really enjoyable experience from before the game starts, you know, all the way through the end of the game, where you've got these, you know, great amenities. You've got ways to engage with the young kids. You've got food and drinks for the adults, and again, it all comes back to good soccer on the field, which we're certainly enjoying tonight. We get just good quality soccer to watch, which is what it all revolves around. But yeah, to your point, the branding is a big part of it, because there's huge competition for eyeballs.
Soccer's finally going to restart here after a good 4-minute delay. Some injuries. The referees were talking on the far side of the field, not really sure exactly why there's been that long of a delay. It looks like Olympic just made a substitution as well. This would clearly add on some minutes at the end of end of regulation in the stoppage time here at the second half.
It didn't look like anything serious, but definitely took a while to get sorted out.
Legacy Center, Detroit Metro SC still clinging to that 2-1 advantage. You're a team you always want to start off the season with the W. You don't want that dreaded kiss your sister draw.
Especially when you're up 2-0 at halftime. Those sting a little more.
The second half has been a little bit more even in terms of possession and
Vergova with it.
Opportunities.
Into the box. And I believe that was number 17, Derek Broche. Not mistaken.
17, yes. Mr. Broche on the board. 79th minute.
Let's go Metro. Just like that. It's a 3-1 game. Derek Broche from South Lyon. With the Michigan Wolves. Houston Dynamo Academy. As you mentioned, Flint City Bucks. Derek's fun fact that he submitted us is that he loves mangoes. So maybe he'll be celebrating tonight with some fresh mangoes. Max Vergova set that one up. Nice little nutmeg through the defender. Took it along the baseline and found Derek Broche for the goal. FK Olimpik got the work cut out for him now. Down 2 in the 80th minute.
Detroit Metro's first shot on target here in the second half resulted in their third goal of the game. They had a 9-7 shots advantage overall in that first half, and a 7-3 with shots on frame, 4-0 on corner kicks. So that's how they kind of built their 2-0 lead at the break. They've only had 2 shots here total in the second half, 1 on frame, but able to open up that 2-goal advantage once again. So 2 goals in the first half, 1 here in the second. Detroit Metro SC now in the 81st minute.
Yeah, it felt like Macomb in the second half came out with a little more intensity and kind of in control for a good chunk of it. Roland Gibson taken down there. Take a chance to tie some weights up.
Votes in now. Detroit Metro 68% of the votes. Macomb, just 32%. Fans picking them to come back and win this match. Inside 10 minutes plus stoppage time here. The Legacy Center, Brighton, Michigan. Detroit Metro up 3-1 over their guests from FK Olimpik Macomb. That's Scott McDermott. I'm Dan Stickrad. Call here today.
It's good to be watching soccer, Dan. A long winter.
I don't know about you, but I've always, even though I love this, to sit down and like watch basketball and hockey and whatever, I love March Madness.
Ooh. Trying to figure out who they're mugging there. Pointing to him, and I can't see the back of his jersey. I apologize. The kids are going wild. Suddenly, we've got a 4-1 game.
Looks like that was Daniel Wright. He kind of turned and fired that from distance into the upper 90 on the far post.
I looked away for a hot second and missed all the action.
2 consecutive shots on goal. Resulted in 2 more goals for Detroit Metro. They've taken command of this UPSL season opener.
Certainly have. You can tell by the body language, they're fired up.
What an individual effort. That ball kind of squeaked out to Daniel Wright. He turned and in one fluid motion fires it over trafficked upper 90 on the far post.
Derek Broch just checking out of the game. Couldn't see who was checking in. Extracurriculars over there.
Just a little bit of a love tap. Let everyone know that you're there. He hasn't really got too out of hand thus far. Just 3 yellow cards against FK Olimpik in this game.
Controlled here by Metro. Sitting on that 3-goal lead. See if they get the opportunity to add to it. Whether they're going to be content to try to run this clock out here. Another cramping situation. Certainly see this more early in the season, I feel like. Heat's not a factor today, despite being indoors.
These players did not stretch enough. They're a little bit dehydrated, and in different parts of the game they start cramping up, as we're seeing here right now in the 86th minute.
Number 24, Sean Clark. He's going to be okay.
There's probably going to be at least 5 minutes of stoppage time at the end of this game.
Yeah, we had the one lengthy stoppage, and then we've had quite a few of these shorter ones, so I bet you're right.
We had that 1 3.5, 4 minute break. We've had 3 goals, 1 yellow card, a couple of injuries. Should at least put a good solid 5 minutes up on that clock at the end of regulation.
Going with it.
Crossing in the 87th minute here. Well, FK Olimpik has played a much better brand of soccer in the second half. They find themselves in their biggest hole of the game, down 3 goals late here in regulation, 4-1 in favor of Detroit Metro FC here on the National Soccer Network. So if things stay the way they are, Detroit Metro will not just win their season opener, but win their first ever game as a franchise. Had a chance to talk to Jeff Poy, the owner-president, along with Alex Lubyansky, the general manager and head coach. We talked for a good 40 minutes back at the beginning of February. Just about starting this team and everything they've went through and all the things they had to do here in the last few months and continue to do on a daily basis.
It seems to me, Dan, that those two are really on the same page. I think they share a very similar vision. They both got tremendous business acumen. Nice shot there.
Fourth save of the game for Joe Smith. Just his first of the second half. That's the S-I-U-E netminder there. Side 3 of the 4 shots on frame. Minute, so just 2.5 minutes plus stoppage time is all we'll see here at the Brighton Legacy Center.
I played one game in goal, Dan, when I was a youth, and one was enough. It was terrifying to me. I give these keepers a lot of credit. Have a different type of mindset to put yourself in that position.
Yeah, if you are a goalkeeper in soccer or hockey, if you are a catcher in baseball or softball, if you are like a pole vaulter in track and field, it does take a special breed of an athlete to be able to play those positions. It is much more challenging. It's a completely different type of position you see in other sports or an event.
Mostly, I think, from the mental side. And certainly, you need some physical attributes and a skill set, to be sure. But another save there by Smith.
It would be really grueling to be a catcher in baseball, taking that equipment off and on between every inning, and then go back out there and crouch down behind the plate and do that 6 million times over the course of a game if you end up catching a doubleheader, which is rare nowadays that the same catcher will do that, but it has happened in the history of baseball. But if you're a goalkeeper and you are in a shootout, I mean, it's a great way to become a hero if you get a hand on one of those shots. You end up winning on PKs.
Another goal. Number 22, Dihan Nanru, the speedster, finds the back of the net for Detroit Metro. Kind of felt like he was going to get an opportunity just with his ability to get out in space. And he got it here in the 90th minute.
Great ratio here in the second half. Just 4 total shots for Detroit Metro SC as their fan club is growing in numbers and running down the field of flags, but they have been able to convert 3 of those chances here in the second half to open up this game. And
Nanru, a local Detroiter. Been told that he is the fastest soccer player in Michigan, and I'm starting to think that that might be a true statement.
I wonder if he's a former track athlete as well.
Good question. Played at Schoolcraft. Plays at Liquid FC Midwest as well.
So now +5 a stoppage time, just about 20 seconds into the stoppage time period. Barring a miraculous heroic comeback. Brilliant start to the 2025 season for Detroit Metro SC, the newest addition, the debut class of the UPSL, 400+ teams strong across the U.S. What a way to enter a league, enter any league for that matter, with your season opener at home and you are up 5-1 in stoppage time. Just a great all-out effort.
Yeah, there's been buzz, leading into this season about this team, and we found out tonight why. If you're Detroit Metro FC, you've got to be excited to have this under your belt and feeling pretty good going into this 10-game spring season. Knowing Coach Luby, he'll have a laundry list of things to work on and improve on, which is par for the course, but big win like this is good nonetheless. Onward with it.
Final poll, 67% of the fans watching on YouTube predicted Detroit Metro win this game over FK Olimpik Macomb. Down about 2.5 minutes of stoppage time here. Detroit Metro just minutes away from wrapping up victory number 1 in franchise history. FK Olimpik does have a chance coming out here within striking distance to try to put a second goal up in that scoreboard.
That was on number 14, Aaron Salgado. If Macomb can convert. Another one off the post.
Just a little bit snake book. FK Olimpik 3 shots in this game, 2 in the first half, 1 here just seconds ago. Off that framework, they're down 4 goals inside the last couple minutes of stoppage time. You know, sometimes you just catch breaks in a game of soccer, and sometimes you don't. I've been a part of games where a team might outshot the opposition 25-5 and lose 1-0. That's just how it goes sometimes.
It's one of the great things about the sport. I mean, it can be frustrating when you're on the wrong end of it, but
Hockey fans can say the same thing. Like you can play a beautiful game, you just can't put the puck in the back of the net. Sometimes the bounces go the way, and sometimes they don't.
And that's a final. Congratulations to DMFC. Win number 1 in the 2025 campaign. Fans are celebrating on the field.
Those fans have increased in numbers as this game went along. Each time they score a goal or celebrate, more and more young kids joining in the festivities. But that scoreboard says 5-1 in favor of Detroit Metro FC. A great debut performance. Honey. Nanyu with 2 goals, 3 other goal scorers joined in the fray for Detroit Metro SC.
Pretty complete game for Detroit Metro FC. Again, they're gonna take a lot of positives out of this.
13-12 in total shots. 10-6 with shots on goal. 4-0 on corner kicks.
Next home game for Detroit Metro FC is April 25th. Again, back here in Brighton against Duca. FK Olimpik takes on Alianza on the 26th of April. Another road game for them, starting the year off. First couple on the road.
Most of these teams in this division are in the state of Michigan. That looks like it's a wrap on our end.
It's been a pleasure, Dan. Thanks for tuning in, folks. We hope to have you back here for the next one. Until then, I'm Scott McDermott. Cheers from Brighton, Michigan.